3 unique models. Don't worry about the widescreen. There we go. So rather than just one model, but it looks better. And it means for you guys, if you need to kit bash, then you can do that. Okie dokie. That's better. Okay. Yeah, that is better. Right. So let me just start by popping in the you got. No, don't go there. I'm just going to put post-processing back in because it looks pretty. Post. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Bear with me. Volume, right? Yeah. It's global. Try this. That should do it. Okay, so when you first bring the kit in, what you're going to have in your quality settings is probably the shadow distance set to 150, but because this scene's baked, you really don't want that, because it's gonna chug a little bit. The shadows are by far the largest bottleneck with these kits. So if you can find another way to do the shadows, amazing. Yeah, so we've got a few different like little tutorials, little mini optimization tutorials in here. So we've got post-processing that basically explains how to get that set up for interiors. This gives you an overview of what to do when you go inside one of the buildings. So because this is quite a high-end kit in terms of detail, what you're going to need to do is probably have a system where you've got triggers set up in the doorways, you've got triggers set up whenever the player or the camera enters a building. That turns on the reflection probes inside, it turns off the reflection probes outside, it turns on your lighting inside and your lighting outside. And if you really wanted to, you could stream in the interiors and stream in out the exteriors. It's up to you. Yeah, so I mean the try count isn't huge. I mean, you can see like you've got a few bevels going on, but these are all lodded. So you've got 3 levels of detail on most of these. Collision. Alright, let me hit play. Play. Takes a few seconds to load. There we go. So as you can see, the frame rate's pretty good. I'll start over here. So this is the demo scene. It's this giant, big old castle here. It just shows you what you can do. Let me just bring the shadows up a bit more. The light mapping on this is a little low resolution. You could probably go much bigger and it'll look better. But this is pretty good. I just didn't have too much time. Let's just set this to 50. I think that'll be all right. Okay, so yeah. So this it's a bit of a maze. So when you first go to the demo scene, you're gonna notice it's quite complex. There's a lot going on. I'm gonna just, but don't worry about that. We'll go over how to composite something like this in a few minutes. You got lots of different entrances to kind of go up into the interiors. Oh, okay. 30 FPS. Oh, I was wondering why I was running at 30 FPS. I've got everything turned on. Let me turn some of these bits off. So let's just go out here and let's just turn off the interior reflection probes and the interior lights. That's better. Now the reason you want to turn off the interior reflection probes is because they're square, they're cubes. So when you put them in something that is not completely aligned to the world axis, like, you know, angled to it, what you're going to get is you're going to get these blotches on the outside of your buildings, which you don't want, because it's going to be trying to render the interior reflection probes on the exterior of the buildings. So when you're outside, turn those off. So you might want to trigger on every doorway just to go turn off this game object. So you see, I've turned all of that off, and this is what it looks like. Now I'll turn it back on again. You've got this, but this is enough for when you're outside. It's kind of enough so that you can see inside. It's interesting, but and if you're, I mean, maybe if you're using this 5 years down the road and everybody's got RTX whatevers, then maybe you want everything on. Maybe there's maybe Unity's got their own version of Nanite and Lumen and stuff, and so you could run billions of polygons. In that case, go crazy. Did want to future-proof it, so let's turn this off. There we go. Right. So this is rendering correctly. So if we have a look up here, we've got this main central building. You've got the turrets, different types of corner turrets. You've got your ramparts. You've got different types of sort of interior buildings. You've got this sort of giant tower here. And all of these are made of layers. And then here, it is a bit of a maze here. So we've got some staircases. So you can go up, you can kind of come up this staircase. You can go in here, or you can go over here and then up these stairs, and then you want the interiors on. You kind of go through the interiors. Yeah, it's very much a maze. And also you can go into the rampart. You can go into the ramparts. You can go into the towers. Basically, every single building has an interior. That is placeholder. If it's still there, just turn it off. Even here, tops of these towers, you can kind of go inside. But everything has lighting. Everything has reflection probes. I've added light probes for everything. So if you've got characters running around this particular demo scene, you can the light probes will light your characters and any other dynamic objects that aren't baked. One good thing you can do with this is if you do decide to light bake it, then what you can do is you can emit smaller objects like smaller scatter objects, smaller like foliage, props, etc. Anything maybe smaller than 1 meter by 1 meter, anything that is smaller than your texel resolution, emit from the light maps and use light probes instead. Because the lighting's so low frequency, it's not going to pick up any detail anyway. It's kind of a waste. And also enlighten always. One of the bottlenecks for Unity's lighting system, Enlighten, is UV islands. So a lot of these small props have quite a lot of UV islands. So if you imagine one of the ferns, for example, each leaf, you might have 10, 15 UV islands, and let's say you've got 1,000 of those in one area. Lighting's going to not like that. Well, it's going to be fine with it, it's just going to take some time. So you're better off emitting those and lighting them with light probes instead. Yeah, so each one of these cobbles, just like the medieval village, all of the ground objects, they're all modularized, so you can pick one. Even this central piece here. Let me show you. So you can grab one of these. I can drag. I don't know if this is a new Unity thing, but you can't move static objects in runtime. Has that always been the case? I have no idea. I really don't know. Come on, don't crash on me. Has it crashed? Unity. Maybe it's because I've got OBS running as well. Come on. Alright, play enough of that. Even if it does rectify itself, I can't be bothered. Okay. Yeah, so we're working on a medieval dungeon. Where, you know what? I think we're going to drop the medieval word, and it's just going to be detailed dungeons, poly-style dungeons. We want to make it more of a universal kit. So that is looking sweet. I'll show you in a bit. There we go. Okay, so where were we? Yeah, I can just go and show you now. So if I grab one of these, oh, my post-processing is gone. Yeah. We can move this up. You see, this is how it's composed. We've got these corner pieces as well. This means that you can take these modules and build them, make them as big as you like. So, like these steps as well. So you could just have half of one of these. You could have you could have a quarter. You could make it bigger. You could remove these tiles if you want it just smaller. Then you can remove these tiles. Bring in. Come on, turn off. Bring in the steps. We've just used a few of these little assets from Medieval Village, which you will get with this kit. You can just kind of sink them in, and it will look like you've got mud and stone sort of built up over the steps. But you're not here to look at mud, you're here to look at the castle. So let me pop this post-processing back in again and do it quick. Okay, yeah, so if you see this building, this is one building, this is one building, this is one building. These turrets are one building, one building, one building. A lot of this has been turned into prefabs. That's one building. Everything, basically, pretty much. You can just grab from your folders, drag and drop, and then line them up. Even this. See? You can kind of go about set dressing it how you like. I'm going to have to tweak this again now, aren't I? Right, turn you off. Environment. Lighting. yeah, so when you get the kit, by default, the interior reflection probes and the interior lights will be turned off by default. So turn them on if you want. I've got an additional outdoor fill light object, which you also have. If you turn that on, you will get some additional fill light. So if you can see where the light hits the ground, we've put bounce lighting in. So rather than having calculated global illumination, if you know that you're going to have a strong direct light hitting the ground in a particular place, then just stick a point light a little bit above it with some attenuation, and that will kind of simulate the effect. See, it kind of looks like your global illumination. So you can have those on, you can have those off, up to you. They kind of look nice on, I'll keep them on. However, they do have shadows, and so that'll add to the performance, or well, take away from the performance. Everything is set dressed around this island. So this island, it's basically a giant island with a castle on it. Let's hit play. I'll take you inside and we can have a look at that. Now, if you decide to use static batching, which I've done now, which I might turn off, if you decide to use dynamic batching, what you're going to get with this kit, unfortunately, and you might want to adjust it so that this doesn't happen, if you can go in and see where it's occurring. You see these? One of the channels in the normal map has been flipped by static batching because the object is flipped, it's negatively scaled in one axis, and so that axis is now wrong. So I'm just going to turn static batching off, and we won't get that. However, you might want to do some asset combinations yourself. So consolidate the meshes using. There's plenty of mesh combiners on the asset store. So consolidate the meshes per material. So like a building might have 30 modules. You're going to have 30 different objects using a tiling wall texture. You can consolidate those together. That'll help you save a lot of draw calls. So I go to player, untick static batching. We won't get this. Right. I mean, static batching does help if you can live with it and turn it on. I mean, the performance is good. But if you see now, we don't get it. It looks how it's supposed to look. So I've just kind of, on top of the module, the building modules that you already have, in this demo scene, I've just kind of shown how they can be used creatively. So kind of taking out a module and sticking a door, creating a door. There's some steps running down to one of these. So if you imagine you're on a boat and you can kind of look up like the smuggler's entrance. So here, normally that would just run into another turret, but instead of, we've got some rock, some boulders, some cliff faces there. You can kind of come down these steps. It's almost like you look out to sea. And then, so this turret has been embedded into this building. These ramparts obviously connect these turrets. These ramparts connect onto this building here. You can go through it. So let me turn off the exterior probes turn on the interior probes, turn off the exterior and outdoor fill lights, and turn on the interior lights. I don't know whether I've got occlusion culling on this. I should do. Yeah, yeah I do. Okay, this is occlusion culling. This is what your occlusion culling looks like. Right now I'm inside. Now I think out you can see outdoors because I don't think the windows. I don't think I've set the windows to be occluders. But if you wanted that extra performance boost, then what I would suggest doing is make the glass and all of these objects in the individual prefab an occluder, and then all of this will get removed as well. Okay, so yeah, so we're inside this building now. You can kind of go up into the ramparts. You can just go around the entire thing, and you go up and down these staircases, and you go, woo. It is truly a bit of a maze. If I keep going round, oh yeah, okay, yeah, so you've got an exit. Well, ignore the lighting. Yeah, there we go. Dead end. Oh, dead end. There we go, okay. So now we're on the other side, and now I don't have these. I haven't made these triggers myself, so I'm just doing it manually. There we go. Oh. Now, if you need to be able to see some of the interior lights from the outside, just find the lights. Put them in the exterior game object, and then the lights will be on here. I mean, there's literally, it's just because there's thousands of lights, not thousands, probably hundreds of lights in this scene, and even because the occlusion culling is such that you're just going to have a ton of shadow casting lights, which essentially draws the geometry again. And it's the way we've done it with the village as well. Let's go back. Okie dokie. So, oh, I haven't been in here yet. These cool shields. Yeah, so you can definitely build interiors with this kit. There are interior prefabs, all the buildings have interiors with this kit. This is going to be one of the dungeon entrances. So when we finish the dungeons, what I'd like to be able to do is build the demo scene in such a way as if you have the castle already and you import the dungeon kit and then you drag the demo scene of the dungeon into this one, then this is where the dungeon should start. It should go down here. This will turn into a door, or you might want to remove that wall piece. Hold on, let me have a look. Oop. Yeah, so I think it's just a small wall, and then a placeholder door. Yeah, so that will be a dungeon door, maybe something made of wood with sort of heavy metal locks, bars and stuff. Anyway, you go into there, and then I guess you can load in the dungeon scene. So that's how that would work. this is the big tower. So you've got each one of these floors connects to each other. I will show you that. Whoop. Whoop. Yeah, and then you're into the top of the turret. However, turn these on, turn these off. Yeah, let's have a look at the prefabs. That is the village. Where on earth have I put it? Oh, okay. You know what? Yeah, so this kit isn't the one. This particular setup, I don't think, is the one that you're going to get when you download. Well, maybe it is. No, I don't think it is. I think it's more organised than this. I think this is my development version. It's my development project. This will neaten up to the main one. Right. Let's bump the shadows up. Wow, 10. Fair enough. Huh. Okay. Yeah, so these buildings here, these are our completes. So what that basically means is they are set dressed. You know what I'm going to do? That's better. Yeah. So actually, I won't do it in play mode. So all the props that you've got. A lot of these buildings have been set dressed with those props. You should be able to use them. They're also good examples to look at if you want to do your own. We'll put interior lighting in as well. They don't have reflection probes and there's no light probes attached. However, if you wanted to, it might make sense to put light probes in these buildings as prefabs. That might make some sense. Yeah, so if you see these ramparts here, they've got interiors in it, I think. Yep. So you can turn the interior off. So if you're outside and you really wanted to, maybe you could do a search. You can turn the interior off. That'll save a lot on memory as well. Memory, you know what I mean, whatever it is. It's draw calls, I guess. Did I just save you? Ah, come on, man. Yeah, so that demo scene that we built, it did look a bit of a maze. It might have been a little bit intimidating in terms of how on earth do I put that together. So you can start with these if you want to. I've added these helpful fill objects, so you can snap to those. So if I take this for example, and bring this over here, then you can kind of hold V, grab your corner, snap it there. And then you can start building up. You can grab your portcullis, maybe put that here, you can snap that. One thing I haven't done yet, and it would be good to do, I think if I do it, I'll definitely live stream, is get the medieval village kit in and start playing around with that and the castle, see what we can come up with. Yeah, so with that, if you grab one of these turrets as well, you should be able to start clipping these on to the side. Maybe not this one. I mean, that one would work. I think there is, yeah, so this one means, yeah, okay. Yeah, so you can go straight from, yeah, okay. So you put a couple of these on. Here's that negative scale again. See, you really quickly start to build up a castle. And you grab one of these. Probably isn't the best example. Yeah, not this guy. Let's try him. I think what you'd want to do. No, I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use one of these ones here. Move that along, rotate that, bring it in, snap that together. Let's just move this out. Oop. I'm going to turn this light round. I'm going to turn this one off. Don't need you. No, don't do that. turn this light around. Yeah, if you leave auto-generate lighting on as well, your scene is going to chug. So don't do that. Okay. So if I find which one it is, I think it's the bottom of this one is it's kind of parallel. There we go. So I can snap that. And this all lines up. And then I can grab another turret. And I can rotate it like this. Have a look at that. And this corner of this snaps to there. Like that. There you go. And then, I mean, once you have these, that's literally like how many pieces? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. You can put this on a terrain. We've built up the base of these objects, but what you can do is you can obviously then grab these cliffs. Quite happy with how these cliffs turned out, and just build up around the terrain until it hits the ground, whatever you're going to be using. The try count on these aren't high at all. I mean, have a look. See? So they're really kind of used. I mean, you can go up close to them. It's not an issue. But they're really, you can really use them. Use quite a lot of them at a distance. And start to build them up. See? And if you know that this is going to back onto a piece of terrain, this is a 360 one. We've got some that are not 360, like this guy. Just cut the backs off, just because if you're never going to see it, what's the point, right? Just play around with the scale. You can probably scale these up like 1 to 2 times or half. Don't worry about clipping through each other. I think it's what they're designed to do. So you can start building up a castle quite quickly. Now, I'm not saying it's hard. Well, you know, you probably need a little bit of experience, or just play around with it. But if you, all of these are built using modular pieces. So every single thing here is built using this kit right here. So we've got interior walls, we've got exterior walls, we've got trims, we've got ceilings, we've got arches, we've got ground pieces, so cobbles, tiles, wooden beams, blocks of concrete, the bits for the central tile. Obviously, we've got roofs, staircases, foundation rocks. You've got props. Pillars, wall corners, interior wooden beams and such. You've got your portcullis. Now you can build portcullis. No, you got your gates, and you can build this as big as you want. So this is all modularized as well. So you can build this as high as you want, as short as you want, as long as you want. Up to you. We've got some balusters. I think they're called balusters. But all of this culminates to these guys. Everything here is built using those, which means you can go ahead and build your own as well. So if you wanted to build a building different to this, a large one, then you could use those to do that. And I mean, that's a skill into itself. However, I think this should give you an idea of how to approach it. So for example, that huge large tower that we've got in the demo scene, that is made up of these parts. So you've got your base here, and then you've got these floors that you stack on top of each other, and then a roof as well. And pretty much every building in this pack is built like that. So even these, you know, even the turrets. So you can build a turret as tall as you want. You take a base, and you just build up with as many of these as you want. The difficult thing with these turrets is connecting ramparts properly at different angles. However, you know, there's no reason why you can't just block off a rampart so it can't get into a turret. Just put a door on the turret maybe. Then you can kind of have it at any angle you want. You could have a faux turret, so you could only have like the bottom part of the turret, you don't go inside. It's really up to you. We've got a lot of these staircases, some of which were built in the demo scene. They've literally just been stripped out and turned into prefabs. Some have been especially built, such as these, to clip to each other. You've got these square turret floors as well. So these again just stack on top of each other to make things like this and this. And what you can do is, like, once you've got some individual buildings, like one of these, like that's the same one, a turret, a staircase, you can take them all and go, you like stick them together, and then where they overlap, you just go inside and go, oh, okay, I need to remove these modules. So you take out walls, and then you fill in any gaps with smaller objects, and it's quite fun. And you end up with something, you know, like this. That was essentially, this is maybe 5 buildings in one. So we've got this big one at the back here, which you can also find here. And you've got the big turret on top. It's kind of like a wizard's house. I don't know. It's got a pointy bit. You've got the staircases and the bits. You've got the wings of this building. And these are all individual prefabs. So here's a wing. Here's a wing. Here's one of the side staircases. Here's the front staircase. You can just kind of build it up like that. Just maybe sketch it down, work out what you want to do first, and then block it out. Yeah, so there's hundreds and hundreds of prefabs and hundreds of models in the kit. So if you've got any questions about how it's used, how to use it, technical questions, then feel free to ping a message either on Discord, or you can put it in the comments below. There's an email address for me on our Unity publisher page. I think there might be one on the About section on YouTube as well. So feel free to use that. We will be coming out with the Dungeons kit in the next sort of 6 weeks. We've got the polystyle version of this kit, the video of which I did yesterday, so you can take a look at that. That's coming out in maybe 10 days, I think. And yeah, we're going to carry on making kits to kind of complement this theme. We might be branching out into other themes soon, but we need to kind of figure that out. But yeah, thanks for having a watch and taking a look at the kit with us. If you're new to the channel, then hit subscribe. That always helps. Whenever we put out a new video going over a new kit or a new aspect of the kit, then you'll get notified on that. There's a link to Discord in the About section as well, so if you want to just quickly chat, then you can do that there. There's a lot of people that have the kits as well on there that they're always quite helpful. So if you've got any questions, they've either been through it or themselves, or they know exactly. If I'm not available, then they'll be available. But yeah, cheers very much, guys.